Good afternoon. This is Dave Jones on October 2nd, 2024. This is a tropical weather update for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment. That's a group of stakeholders that are dedicated to sharing information across platforms, across state boundaries, and across private sector organizations to help the movement of fleet utility vehicles and to help restoration activities continue in heavily damaged areas because of Hurricane Helene. Well, this is the tropical update. Fortunately, we don't have any tropical activity going on of consequence in the Gulf of Mexico. I can show you what's happening here. There's a frontal system that's laying across the Gulf right now. There's some disturbed weather. Doesn't look like anything right now is expected to develop. The National Hurricane Center does have a probability or a percentage of tropical development. I'll show you that in GeoCollaborate in just a moment. We have a cluster of clouds south of Cuba as well. That doesn't show any real form of organization at this time. But out further, we do have a very mature hurricane now. It is Hurricane Kirk. And Hurricane Kirk has winds of 85 miles per hour. It is strengthening and forecast to become a major hurricane out in the Atlantic Ocean, fortunately remaining out in the Atlantic Ocean. We do have another system as well. Let me show you the full screen satellite loop, and I'll move it over just a little bit more here for you to see. You can see right behind Hurricane Kirk is Tropical Depression 13. Tropical Depression 13 is likely to become a tropical storm and then a hurricane. That will be known as Leslie. We're up to the L's. That is forecast to move towards the west, but also recurve in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So that's terrific news. The tropics are active. The sea surface temperatures are high. Ocean heat content remains. We need to keep very vigilant, and we will, monitoring the tropics for any form of development. Now, I want to show you a GeoCollaborate. I'll take that full screen as well, and you can see what's happening as far as that's concerned. I'll scroll up just a little bit here. We have a couple of things happening. I did mention this area of potential development in the Gulf of Mexico, and the National Hurricane Center still has a 40% probability over a 7-day period that something may develop in the Gulf. So whenever we have this kind of probability going on, we'll continue to monitor it until this goes down and it goes away. Once there's no outlook or potential for tropical systems to develop, we'll take a little bit of a break with our tropical updates. But until then, we'll keep everybody here in the SISE notified and alert of what's going on in the tropics. Out here is Hurricane Kirk, forecast to become a major hurricane in the next couple of days. But look at that, recurve right up and not be of any consequence to anyone but the shipping industry right now. This is also an area behind where Tropical Storm Kirk or Hurricane Kirk was here that may develop into Leslie. So I want to talk a little bit about the flooding conditions in North Carolina. This is the North Carolina's Feynman network. It is the Flood Inundation Mapping and Alert Network. The good news is that all of these gauges in western North Carolina are going down, and just about all of them are below minor flood stage. All around Asheville, the French Broad River is down, but now it reveals total devastation in many, many areas. A lot of response. Recovery operations and rescue operations are going on in western North Carolina. This one little gauge here is located at a dam. It's the dam near Wilkesboro. That is indicating up just because of a releasing of some water. So that's good news. The ones out here in eastern North Carolina, they're showing a little rise because of the water coming out of the mountains, but not in any major flood stage, which is great. I do want to talk about the power outage and also driving through North Carolina. I'm going to start first with the power outage numbers. And this is really incredible. We have a huge number of restoration, both on the distribution and transmission side of the house. Transmission are those big power cables that you see that are strung together in big fire breaks in open areas. There was damage done to transmission and also the distribution. There are the poles that you see lined throughout many, many roads across America. There are a number of crews that are responding to this. As a matter of fact, if you notice from yesterday, California, Washington, Oregon, and Nevada have been colored in because those crews are on their way across the country to come into Georgia and other locations that need restoration. This is still a Herculean effort. And you can see right now the numbers are at 1,266,676 meters or customers that are without power. So there's still a big effort underway to restore that power. Now, just a little talk about mutual assistance. That's when all of these utilities respond whenever states need assistance in helping to restore power in their areas. We've had nearly 50,000 workers from 40 plus states, Washington, D.C., and Canada working diligently, and as I mentioned, additional ones on the way from the West Coast. This has been one of the largest mutual assistance efforts and mobilizations ever in the history of the utility industry, outpacing the number from Hurricane Sandy in 2012. And this is something that is going to get everybody back, not as fast as they want, but it will get them back to power. Many areas that have been destroyed will require total infrastructure rebuilds. And there are priorities, too, for restoring power. There have been a number also of water treatment facilities that have been destroyed that need to be rebuilt quickly to get clean water into towns that have been so disrupted. So that is the mutual assistance numbers there. I do want to show you that Helene impacted nearly 6 million customers in 10 states. And as of 9 o'clock this morning, right now it's about 1:47 p.m. Eastern Time, we've had power restored to nearly 4.69 million people. That is incredible. If you see a line worker, a utility worker, please give them a pat on the back, offer them a drink of water, tell them thank you for the effort that they're going through. And this is from Florida up into Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, and Virginia and West Virginia as well. We have about 78.2% of customers restored. That last 23% are going to be the hardest in many areas that have been really impacted along the path of that damage. So about travel, there are dangerous conditions that remain and will remain for quite a while in western North Carolina, western South Carolina, and parts of Georgia. This specifically is for western North Carolina. There are shortages of water, shortages of food, gas, power, and communication. More and more Starlink systems are being set up to enable Wi-Fi, enable internet connectivity to people so they can get communications out as well. Non-emergency travel is still prohibited by the state of North Carolina. So if you are thinking you're going to be doing a lot of help by traveling up there with a trunk full of supplies, make sure that you coordinate with somebody who is awaiting those supplies and that those supplies are something specific that organizations need. It's referred sort of as the disaster after the disaster, when clothes and supplies and all this stuff arrive in towns that have been decimated and they don't know what to do with it. A lot of it ends up in the landfill, which is very sad. So make sure before you do anything, if you're having any drives to put relief supplies together, that you coordinate that And that's in the upper red crawl here for travel. If you're going into Western North Carolina, it must be coordinated with the Business Emergency Operations Center in North Carolina. And so non-emergency travel is still prohibited. Also, you cannot get from North Carolina to Tennessee via I-40 or I-26. There are too many washed out portions of the highway to complete that highway. So it is closed and will require major reconstruction by the state of North Carolina and perhaps the federal government. There may be closed roads that aren't listed on drivenc.gov. That's how they get a lot of their closed road reports from people who report them. With the internet down and connectivity issues, the reports of closed roads aren't making it into the drivenc.gov system. Also, people that are evacuating from Asheville, specifically if you're able to see this from Asheville, there are two ways out. You can get out through I-40 East or I-26 East. That's for evacuating the Asheville area so you can get to places of safety and out of the disaster area. So that is the report that I wanted to give today. I did just want to mention as well that in some of the hard-hit areas in North Carolina and South Carolina, they're actually using mules to get supplies into towns that have been cut off by roads. So mules are being very effective and useful this time with this particular disaster. That's it for this tropical update. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Thanks for watching. We'll continue to update the tropics as long as there is the chance of any sort of development in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean that will result or could result in any system that would provide a threat to the lower 48 states in the United States and Puerto Rico. So thank you for watching this. We'll be up back tomorrow with another update. Until then, thanks so much for watching. Please take care of yourself and take care of your neighbors.